Hey y'all, Jamie here, proud 55-year-old trans woman from New Orleans. So, where last I left off, I was in my mother's car with her, and we were alone driving towards Gonzales, Louisiana to go visit my little sisters. It was going to be our first reunion with all of us in the same room at the same time as adults. So, my mother decides to tell me on this car ride that she just found out from her doctor that she has cancer, throat cancer. My mother was a heavy smoker, and yeah, she had gotten throat cancer. And she proceeds to tell me to keep my mouth shut. She doesn't want me to say a word to my sisters. Nothing. Total secret. You keep this between me and you. I hated that shit with my mother. My mother would pull that keep this between me and you. This is just between me and you. Don't put my business out on Front Street. My mother played that game with me my entire life. Like, she just did. She always did. And I hated that game. I hated it so much. I did not like keeping secrets. I did not like, I didn't like bullshit games. I just didn't. And so, you know, this was going to be my mother's first time seeing her own grandchild, her first grandchild. And so we get there. She meets my nephew Milton, who she burst into tears when she saw her grandbaby. And we hung out that day. I had a camcorder with me, and I recorded one of those big over the shoulder kind, like just a monstrosity. And I had bought it at a pawn shop. Anyway, I had that with me, and I videotaped like all day long. I was videotaping. It was me, my mother, my sister Deanne, and her girlfriend Tina, who was a 35-year-old woman, butch lesbian woman, who looked like a 17-year-old boy. Okay, her, and then my sister Daphne and her boyfriend Jared, okay, who would later become her husband. And so that's who I was there. My nephew Milton was there. And, so my mother, like I said, she's in tears when she sees her grandbaby. And we hung out, and I kept it to myself, and it bothered me the entire damn day. It bothered me to no end. And what was I going to do? I mean, I couldn't bring it up in front of everyone. But if my mother thought for one second that I was going to keep something like that a secret from my sisters when they were her children too, as far as I was concerned, they had every bit as much right to know about that shit as I did. And so, yes, after I was back home, when I was alone and I was able to call my sisters, I called them and I told them what was going on. And I told them that she asked me not to tell them and that she wanted it a secret. And they were pissed. Like, they were pissed that she was playing these games and keeping these secrets and stuff. And it was like, why would you do that? Why? Just why? All of your children have a right to know that kind of shit. And so anyway, life is moving on. At this point, I was still working at a club on Bourbon Street called Papa Joe's. Papa Joe's Female Impersonators, which was my number one problem with the place. I couldn't stand that it was called Papa Joe's Female Impersonators. I'm not impersonating anything. I am a woman. I'm not impersonating a woman. I am one, okay? So it was hard for me to work there anyway. And I did off and on for years. I worked there because it was the one, like, there were lots of clubs in the quarter that hired trans girls to dance there, but it was the only one that was like openly trans. So you didn't have to sweat whether or not customers knew. At any rate, I was tired of it. I was just tired of it. And I had worked in the papers, in the sex papers in California when I was 19, so I knew about that. Well, there's a newspaper, well, it was a magazine really, in New Orleans called The Gambit. The Gambit still exists today. And so the Gambit had ads in the back of it for massages. And so my little happy ass placed an ad in the Gambit. I chose the name Celeste for my ad name. And I ran an ad that always said the same thing, y'all. It always said, go try the rest, then come see the best TS. Ask for Celeste, and be sure and ask about my stimulating specialties. Yeah, that ask about my stimulating specialties line, they always asked about that, and I would just tell them, oh, honey, it's fantasy fulfillment. You tell me your fantasy, and we work it on out. And I would Listen, everything was tip based. I had a flat rate for the massage, and everything above that was tip based. So that's kind of how the ad situation worked. And I started running the ads. Mainly, I would work when Mickey was like downtown doing his thing, hustling in the quarter. Then I would answer calls. I would get like 100 to 200 calls a day. And in those days, caller ID was still brand new. Like caller ID was a brand new invention in those days, honey. And I had it. I paid extra for it so that I knew who these clients were that were calling. So, yeah. I am at home one night and I think I had turned like maybe two or three clients that day. And I had made some fair money, because if they just wanted the massage, it wasn't a lot of money. But if they wanted, if they wanted the happy endings and things, then yeah, it kind of went up real quick. So Mickey was out in the quarter and I'm at home and I'm answering calls and I see that it is a payphone. The number says payphone. Now, I figure it's New Orleans, it's a tourist city. So I answered the call and I hear a deep male voice. And it says, "You're gonna fucking die, you faggot whore. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna cut you up into a million pieces." And if you want to know what happens next, y'all know the routine, honey. Whew, be here next time and I will too. I love you all. I love you all for watching and I love you for the comments. Please repost this. It helps y'all. I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.